So I've been using this BambuLab H2D for a while now, and it's been a great printer, hasn't let me down once. In fact, I trust it enough to use it almost completely remotely for every print. So in this video we'll take a closer look at my setup and how I use my printer. While I have a couple of 3D printers that we've covered on the channel, I print more as a hobbyist rather than trying to sell items, so generally some functional bits I need around the house here and there. I'll give you an example. So we had this new main door installed with this rather small thumb lock that my daughters would struggle to open, so I jumped into Shaper 3D, my platform of choice. I'm not much of a 3D modeler, but find this platform easy enough to use, especially on an iPad with the Apple Pencil. Anyways, came up with a basic design that could slip on and be used to provide that extra length, so extra leverage to turn that thumb lock much more easily. This progressed and I eventually came up with another design that looked a little more streamlined and has a tighter friction fit over the original lock, meaning this now stays in place as a permanent fixture and everyone in the household can open the lock way easier than before. So examples like this is where 3D printing can be really handy. Otherwise though, I print bits and pieces I find online, whether functional or just for fun. Saying that, I'm not really into printing large multicolour models like helmets. I prefer printing in pieces and assembling most of the time, or any multicolour prints are generally limited to maybe printing the first few layers in colours and that's it. So I don't have a huge amount of purge waste anyways. So while I think a tool changer would be a nice to have, it's not something I really think I'd benefit from too much. I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm tempted by the Vortex system though, but while it looks impressive, it is costly, and for me, someone who prints as a hobbyist, I question if it would make much difference, so I'm kind of in two minds here. Saying that, if you'd like a video guide on the entire upgrade process, leave a comment below and I could be tempted. But anyways, for now I seem to be getting along just fine with my current setup. So up top I have two AMS2 Pro units, both connected to the right nozzle, as well as a single AMS HT, which is connected to the left nozzle. But I have this bit of spare space just here. Actually, it's just enough to fit another AMS. So for me, having several colours loaded comes more down to pure convenience. I have my printer in an outbuilding so I can print overnight without disturbing anyone in the main house. I power up remotely using a smart plug. I send the print job remotely from my computer in the house, and I monitor through the built-in camera remotely too. So what's more important for me is having all my main colours loaded and ready to go at any time, so I don't have to come out and load colours up before each print. Guess you could put it down to a bit of laziness too. Anyways, as with most BambuLab printers, connecting an additional AMS is as simple as it possibly could be, and involves connecting both the PTFE and the data cable into the rear. I've placed this small wooden unit here in order to raise the AMS, as not only did I think it looked neater, it also keeps the PTFE tubes short since it's closer to the printer, meaning faster filament changes. And after a little reorganisation, I think I'm done. So that's the two AMS units up top connected to the right nozzle using a 4:1 PTFE adapter, and the remaining AMS and HT units connected to the left nozzle, again using another 4:1 adapter. With that, we're ready to power up. And the printer will detect an additional connected AMS. And we get the option to update its firmware, which only takes a minute or two. I'm going to move a spool of white filament into the newly installed AMS unit here, and the system will read the NFC tag and load up the spool as normal. By doing that, we can now select the option to automatically set up the AMS units. Here the system will load one spool from each AMS, so it's starting with the first AMS here, then the second, and so on, each in turn. And by doing this, it will automatically set which nozzle each AMS is connected to. So if we head back into our settings, we can see the two AMS units on the right nozzle, and the new AMS alongside the HT on the left. All nice and easy with no further setup needed. When it comes to power, each AMS unit is daisy-chained from one to the next, with a spare port remaining on the last for additional units if the need arose. Talking of power, I mainly print PLA and I've never had the need to manually dry filament in the past, but even though none of these AMSs, other than the HT, are connected directly to power, I can set one to dry at any one time. If I wanted to dry everything together, then separate power adapters for each AMS would be needed, but I can't see myself needing to do that, and of course you'll be unable to set the dry function on any AMS that's currently in use for an active print. Sticking with drying for a minute then, I do like to print and install these desiccant buckets too, which are filled with desiccant beads, as carefully as possible of course. And these fit perfectly into every available space within the AMS, and they do a great job of controlling humidity around the spools stored inside. Once the humidity within each AMS gets to around 45 to 50%, I tend to change out the desiccant and dry out the used beads in order to regenerate them and store them for future use. Every little bit helps, right? So anyways, that's the setup for now, and that should keep me going for a while when it comes to my limited 3D printing adventures. I'm still in two minds about that Vortex upgrade though. What do you think? Should I go for it?